And if they can, they will even things up in the standings against the Thunderbirds. A hard hit to begin the game. And slow to get up is McKillop. And as he was skating towards the corner to try to exit the ice surface, he was hit again. Or sorry, he fell over again.
And that was an awkward fall into the boards there. And he got up and tried to get himself off, and he's leaving in considerable discomfort, it looks right now. He's heading right back to the dressing room.
Just 22 seconds into the contest. And the Voodoos could be down by a player. Looks like it's going to be 5 minutes.
Yeah, so it looks like Thunderbirds got a 5-minute major on that one. I would guess it's a boarding. 5 in the game, maybe. He's leaving the bench now.
And that is Nate Dugwell. And he is being sent to the locker room.
And we'll wait for the announcement for what it actually is being called, but play is back underway here.
And that's a big player for the Thunderbirds to not have. 9 goals, 27 points on the season for Dugwell. And so the Voodoos, with a very opportune power play to begin this game. That one's dumped in on the left side corner, sent in behind the net. Couple of players digging away at it back there. Russo involved. It gets sent to the right side boards onto the stick of Dubroy. Plays it back behind the net for Russo. Russo sets it up at the line. Pass back to the left side for Cowell. He lets it go by him. Tries to play it behind the net. Now back to the point. Shoveled back into the corner. Russo reaching for it. Getting in the way of that play is Gage Evans, but they can't do much with it. And so it's back in control of the Voodoos. At the blue line, Dubroy walking in. Try to play it back off the boards. It's through the skates and off the end boards. The Voodoos still trying to get control of the puck deep in the Thunderbird zone. Picked up in the corner. Trying to feed it on the half boards. Now down to the point. Still in control by the Voodoos. Passed in by Rotundo. And now it's cleared by the Thunderbirds all the way down to Wilcox with the power play down to 3 minutes and change left on it. On the 5-minute major, they can score an infinite amount of goals. So,
I mean, time only allows for so many, but
in behind the net, stopped by Metivier, flips it back to the point, and not being able to hold that one in was Marcus Kratz. Chased down the ice by the Thunderbirds in behind the net. The Voodoos gain control, and they look to break out of their own zone with it. Trying to feed it at the blue line, but they would have been offside. They dump it in, and it's sent right back down the ice. Thunderbirds doing an excellent job not giving the Voodoos a lot of room to work with here. Legler sent that one back to his own blue line, and it's sent right back into the Voodoos' end. 2:50 gone to begin this game. And the Voodoos trying to get something going on the power play here. Turned over into the zone. Stopping, turning. Jacob Smith sending it wide. Picked up on the far side board. They try to feed it in front. That's blocked by the Voodoos. And now maybe they'll have a chance to regroup and get down the ice. Mason Rotundo plays it to the right side. Onto the stick of Cowell. Dumped in, but it is cleared as Rotundo couldn't hold it at the line. Chased down the ice again. That's Camden Cowan who turned it over. Voodoos into the zone. Still can't set anything up. Sundedecker the other way, putting it on net, and that one's just wide. DeBroy feeds it to the far side. Russo with it. Russo chips it along the boards. Just over a minute remaining on the power play. sent down the ice, and Wilcox out of his net to play it again with almost 4 minutes gone in this game. Sonnedecker tries to feed it in. Atkinson comes all the way back to his own end. Plays it right on a stick of McDowell, and he dumps it down the ice. Kratz tries to dig away at the corner. In behind the net. That's picked up by Jack Nolan. Nolan down the left wing. Tries to play to the middle. That's blocked again by the Thunderbirds. Rotundo with a lane to go. Now it's blocked, so he circles back, sends it to the right side, and now dumped in. Metivier gets down to make the save, and he clears it down the ice. Less than a minute to go on the power play. Voodoos into the zone. Cal coming in, and it's knocked off of his stick. Almost 5 minutes into the game, and time almost up.
And we see McKillop making his way back to the bench, and that's a big gain for the Voodoos to not have lost him right off the hop.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost a one-for-one trade-off. But the Voodoos will get the advantage back, even if they couldn't do anything on that 5-minute advantage. They looked good right off winning the face-off in the zone, but weren't able to do much as we're back to even strength now. And we're all even, still on the board. Out of the zone. DeCallaway dumps it in. Metivier looking to play it, but the officials will blow the whistle down to freeze the play. And that's our first stoppage since that penalty call.
And of note, that was the first shot on goal from outside the blue line after the 5-minute penalty went by. If you want to have success, you can't be letting a 5-minute power play go without any chances on net, let alone any goals.
And like we said, this is a big game for both these teams when it comes to the standings, as that's icing call. The Thunderbirds have a 4-point lead over the Voodoos for 6th place in the NOJHL standings. And again, 4 big points on the line this weekend with a back-to-back set here in Powassan.
Yeah, if they can make up those points here against them and keep them out of those points, tie them up for that place, that's a big spot right there.
Because for the Powassan Voodoos, they're also trying to hold off the Espanola Paper Kings, who currently sit with 41 points, so just 4 points back of the Powassan Voodoos for 7th.
And it's a big difference if you end up playing 7th or 8th seed coming into these playoffs. Playing against Hearst is far more favorable than the Greater Sudbury Cubs.
And the Voodoos and the Paper Kings will meet twice before the end of the season. 2 more matchups in the final 6 games of the year between those 2 clubs. So there's another big 4 points on the line right there.
Exactly.
Thunderbirds getting the shot in. That one is blocked and redirected out of the zone. Legler plays it back. Now sent out to Atkinson, who deflects it into the zone. Rotundo to the near side, trying to pass it down the middle. Chased by the Thunderbirds, and they get it out of the zone. Cowell dropping it back over to Cowell at the boards. Cross zone pass, now dropped below the goal line. And they almost put it in their own net.
Russo picks it up and skates out in front. That's, they're making some dangerous plays in their own zone here.
Here come the Thunderbirds down the ice. Jones McDonald sets it up at the blue line. Shot coming in, turned away. Good battle on the far side. Stopped at the line, trying to feed it in. Out behind the blue line, McDowell goes offside. 12:21 to go in the first period. No score, just 1 shot on net apiece.
This has really been a very interrupted game that we've seen so far. The Voodoos weren't able to even have control in that 5-minute power play, but since then, neither team has really been able to manage too much control of the puck to be able to even accomplish much in terms of shots on goal or pressure. It's just been sort of a bunch of fumbling and missed passes.
Soo Thunderbirds have been hot coming into this game, 8-2 over their last 10 played. Nice move down the middle to create some space by Harley Wardle. Wardle with the puck in the corner. Turn to the goal line, now sends it to the blue line across to McDowell. The shot, that gets blocked. A nice play at the line by Saginaw.
And Saginaw, like normal, has a really good active stick, and we saw a great example of it there, blocking that shot from getting in.
Coleman feeding it down the boards for the Voodoos. Played back in behind the Voodoos net as the home side looks to clear. Legler putting the pressure on the forecheck. And now the Thunderbirds try to come in with the advantage here. They send it to the net, and that one's off the stick of Wilcox and out of play. 11:30 to go in the first period. No score. And as we mentioned, the Thunderbirds 8-2-0 in their past 10 games, while the Powassan Voodoos have not won since the calendar flipped over to February. Their last win, January 31st, a 3-1 defeat over the Gold Miners. There's a play at the side of the net, a hard hit behind the net as well. That's Gage Evans usually using all of his 6'4" frame to knock down the Voodoos player behind the net. 6'4", 210 is Gage Evans. There's a shot from the blue line, and now the side of the net. They can't bang home the rebound. Now they try to play it out in front, and again, it goes off the side of the net. Thunderbirds just not able to get their target indicators where they want it. Fenlon across to the left side. Shot coming in, scores! That time it worked. Gage Evans with a snipe from the blue line, and the Thunderbirds lead 1-0.
That was definitely a dangerous series of plays that happened there, where Wilcox was being kind of left out to dry a handful of times, and eventually it's come back to bite the Voodoos in the butt there, and it was a shot through a bunch of traffic, and he didn't have much hope to see it.
Gage Evans with just his second goal of the season. And now 8 points on the year. First-year player here in the NOJHL from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. So not the start the Powassan Voodoos were looking for. The Thunderbirds actually coming in off a 6-2 loss to the Blind River Beavers their last time out, but they had won 4 in a row before that game. And they hadn't given up more than 3 goals against in any of those games, including an 8-2 win over Powassan back on February 7th.
And as you mentioned, 8-2 record in the last 10 games. They're really on a hot streak now, and they're actually, you know, since coming off that big penalty kill, they're showing the Powassan fans here why they're on such a hot streak right now. They're playing very well-controlled hockey and really putting more pressure on Powassan than they're able to throw back the other direction.
Metivier leaves it, whipped around to the far side boards. Pinching in are the Voodoos. Russo trying to get control of it. Nice play on the line, shot coming in from Call, and that one is stopped.
And that was a great play by Cowell there as we head into our mid-period break here. We'll be back on just the other side.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Matt Sukram with you here alongside Ben Long. You're watching Powassan Voodoos hockey on Flow Hockey, as well as listening to it on the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel. It's 1-0 for the Soo Thunderbirds, and they're also out shooting the Voodoos 4-2. But what they've been able to do is just create a few more opportunities inside the offensive zone, whereas the Powassan Voodoos really haven't been able to get their cycle game going at all.
No, that's exactly right, Matt. The Powassan Voodoos just haven't been able to put a whole lot of pressure in any way on the visiting Thunderbirds. their passes haven't been connecting, and the Thunderbirds just seem to be all over them, just a step ahead. With the Voodoos coming off, have just played last night and another game tomorrow. This is a lot of pressure and energy excised in the last 24 hours and over the next 24 hours for them too. So I'm sure they'll be feeling that, and that'll be something to watch in tomorrow's game as they finish their 3-3.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off back-to-back losses against the Lumberjacks. They scored 8 goals combined in those games. Unfortunately, they gave up 15. There's a shot coming in. Excuse me, they gave up 13. A 7-4 loss in Hearst back on February 16th, and then a 6-4 loss last night here in Powassan. Voodoos looking to see if they can set something up here, but very quickly the Thunderbirds get it out of the zone. McDowell sends it in high. Smith going into the corner for it. Plays it behind the net. Now whip back around on the near side. Back into the corner. It comes out in front at the line, controlled. Looking to send it in. It's loose in the slot, but then slapped away. McDowell now walking in, and that one gets through, but it goes off the side of the net. They play it back to line. Pass to the right side. One-timer is stopped. Another chance, and that one gets denied. In behind the net. Couple of bodies back there. They feed it back to the point. Across to the right side. McDowell with a shot for the point. That gets stopped as well, and it will touch the netting and go out of play. Gallivan was set up on the far side point, and he really made things tough on the Voodoos because it looked like he was going to shoot a couple times, but he kept feeding it over to McDowell, and he was unleashing a rocket.
And there was a couple really good defensive plays by the Voodoos there. One by Justin Russo in front of the net to knock a puck away. That would have been a clear chance for one of the Thunderbirds, and a great shot block by Dawson Coleman.
And good to see Coleman looks to be okay. It looks like he took it right off the hand.
Yeah, off the hand or the forearm somewhere. It looked like he might have been in some pain, but...
Turnover at the blue line. McCauley coming in, taking the shot, and that one stopped. Rebound chance in front of the net, and that one goes high. The Thunderbirds pouring it on now. Poke check made at the near side boards. Thunderbirds, Sonnendecker trying to poke it ahead, but Cowell gets in the way, getting it out to Russo. Russo is able to get it in over the blue line, but very quickly Legler comes right back into the zone. Passes off to the right side, Soniker. Back in front to Legler, but he could not get the shot off. Puck comes down to the near side. Voodoos flip it out of the zone. Looking to get a couple of fresh legs out there is Powassan. That one's dumped in. It touched a stick, so that will negate the icing call. Down the left side, Saginaw. Across the right side, nice saucer pass to enter the zone. And now shot in on net. Loose puck on the doorstep, and they score! Metivier mishandles it, and the Voodoos pounce all over it. It's 1-1 with 7 minutes to go in the second period as De Broglie gets the goal.
And that's a big goal for De Broglie, as we've talked about how important these games are for them to tie it back up. The shots are only 6-4. If they can turn this game around and start having the pressure going the other way, that this game could turn to be a different story than what we've seen for this first 13 minutes of it.
20th goal of the season for Caden De Broglie, the third-year forward out of Sudbury, Ontario, setting new career highs in goals and points. He's tied his career high with 15 assists, so looking to set a new mark there, but that is his first goal since January 31st. And that's why, if you saw, he was throwing the proverbial monkey off his back. I mean, that's, first goal this month for Caden De Broglie.
Voodoos goal, his 20th of the season, scored by number 11, Caden De Broglie.
And with the amount that he scores on a regular basis, that's a good period for him to go without.
Yeah, it really is. And again, third-year guy, so obviously expected to put up the numbers and put up the points. And when the team's mired in a streak as the Voodoos have been, and you're feeling it, and you're not able to try and change their fortunes, it definitely weighs on you when you're one of the leaders. 6 minutes to go now off the icing call from the Soo Thunderbirds. 1-1 here in Powassan. Thunderbirds come in, 163 goals for, 163 goals against. Coming into the game, the Voodoos with a -5 goal differential, 144 and 145 against. At the blue line, Viscu trying to just hammer that puck in along the boards, but it's knocked away from his stick, and the Thunderbirds down the ice, playing it wide on the left side. Now shot around on the near side boards. Smith attacking, Daze with him. Smith trying to go in behind the net. Little poke check made by Wilcox. That allows Powassan to get control of the puck. The Voodoos, boys, gets it up at Demisa. Little pass over to Viscu. Viscu gets hit, trying to go after the puck, and that allows the Thunderbirds to get it out of the zone. Racing down the near side is Sonnedecker, and he gets knocked off the puck. Voodoos on the counterattack, racing in, cross-body shot, but it goes wide. Might have gone off the stick of Metivier, and now it's at the near side boards. Cowell chips it back in behind the net, played to the left side. That's controlled there by McGunthin. He tries to play it down to Cowell. The shot coming in, and it's a glove save made by the goaltender Metivier, his 5th of the game.
And Metivier is a very sharp goalie. We saw lots of him last year playing with the Greater Sudbury Cubs before he moved back to his hometown of Sault Ste. Marie to play. So the one that we got that was a little bit lucky there. They're going to have to keep playing on pressure and putting odd ones to the net to try and get some more by him.
Yeah, I don't think he's let too many goals in like that this season, has he? That's some hometown luck for sure if you're the Powassan Voodoos. But
lucky hometown bounce and hope for a couple more of those.
That's right. 4:40 to play in the first period. 1-1 the score. Thunderbirds move it out of their zone. Dumped in by Neveu. Neveu with it at the blue line. Shot, it goes off the back of one of the Voodoos forwards. That's Cowell. Cowell picks it up and then sends it down the ice. Neveu in behind the net to play it. Over to Jones McDonald. He lost it. Picked up by Smith in front of his own net. Played to Neveu in the corner. Sent back around to Smith on the far side. They get it out of the zone, but turn it over the blue line. They get it right back. Smith down the left wing. Looking to send it in. That one's just wide. At the Powassan blue line. To Callaway. Fed it up to DeBroy, and he deflected it right onto the stick of the Thunderbirds at their blue line. That allows them to go on the counterattack, and here they come, trying to set it up in front of the net. It got tied up in some skates, and now they can't keep it in the zone as Moretta has to chase it behind the blue line. Smith coming in, played to the near side. That one gets cleared again. Moretta in control, played to the far side. Now back to the near side, Daze. Daze, a North Bay Battalion draft pick. Sending it in along the end boards. Picked up over there by Rotundo of the Voodoos. Rotundo now looking down the ice, decides to turn back. And with 3 minutes to go, tries to head out of the zone, but he turns it over. 3-1 in, and they score. Sonnedecker didn't need much time to convert on that play. And the Powassan Voodoos go down 2-1.
And those types of turns over are ones that you just can't afford to be making at this level. Rotundo, who's usually very solid with the puck and very, very sure with his movements, turned up and just gave them a really easy, great chance right there. And they took advantage of it with the shot coming from around the hash marks there.
20th goal, check that, 21st goal of the season for Sonnedecker. And his 39th point of the year for the second-year forward out of Hilliard, Ohio.
That's certainly not a type of player you want to be giving that kind of chance to.
And I remember watching him in the showcase in Sudbury. and just thinking that he's a guy that could have a big year. He's big-bodied. He's got some skill. And he really showed it there. What a shot that was.
Yeah, leading their team in goals. Was tied in points unless Legler got an assist in the game so far, that he's leading the team in points now solely. Tied with Justin Russo for lead in points between both these teams.
So now the Voodoos will have to look for the equalizer again, and they put it on net. That's a good way to start. Jack Nolan now behind the net, trying to feed it in front. Nolan with it again, and it looks like the Voodoos are going to be penalized here. Holding is going to be the call, and unfortunately it's going to come against Caleb Dawson. As, I mean, that looked like it could have been 50-50. It looked like both players were going at each other.
Yeah.
And Dawson was the one that got caught.
I was thinking there was a penalty going the other way, and the other guy fell down, and that's where Dawson gets a penalty, which is a 4-minute apparently.
Yeah, I think he got unsportsmanlike after the whistle.
Interesting call.
Which is very interesting. I mean, he is kind of pleading his case. Again, when two guys are going at each other like that, usually no one gets a penalty, and now, unfortunately for Dawson, he gets 4 minutes. And so the Voodoos, who are already down by a goal, are going to need to kill a lengthy penalty here. Double minor on the board as the Thunderbirds move it around the zone. They put it on net. That one's just wide. And the Voodoos get it out. And this will carry over into the second period. Unless they get two quick ones, I guess. A minute 40 remaining in the period. Down to the point. Gallivan back to the left side. There's a shot that gets blocked. Nice job getting down on that one was Reed to box. And now Cowell coming in short-handed, taking the shot, and it goes wide of the net. The Thunderbirds quickly on the counterattack. Bring it into the zone. Throwing a hit on Elliott was Cowell, and the Voodoos are able to dump it down the ice. Nice to see McKillop back out there. Remember, he took that hit at the very beginning of the game and left the ice for a few minutes. 1 minute to go. Fenlon across the left side. Shot coming in. Save made off that shot from Camden Cowan. And, I mean, a lot of the Thunderbirds' offensive chances have come from those perimeter shots. But they have some heavy shots, and it's not like they need to use the middle of the ice.
No, heavy shots with lots of traffic in front. If a goalie can't see the puck, he can't make a save on it. So that was a good example of good positioning where Wilcox just got it. When it hit him, it stuck to him, and he held it in.
Fenlon with it again at the line. Play to the left side, back to Fenlon. Now to the right side, Legler, back to Fenlon. One-timer shot, save made. Again, there's four bodies right in front of Wilcox, and he's doing his best to try and see through that traffic. Now Legler across the left side with 30 seconds to go. Fenlon gets it back into the circle, plays it to Legler, shot, save made, and then the rebound is picked up by Russo and sent down the ice.
And Wilcox
I checked that it was McGunthin that made that play, excuse me.
And Wilcox was trying to notify the ref of something as the play was leaving the zone. It seems as though he was quite possibly being interfered with. There was a couple Thunderbirds in very close proximity of where he was standing as the final buzzer sounds.
20 minutes in the books. The Voodoos down by a goal. It's 2-1 for the visiting Thunderbirds, and the Voodoos will have another minute 49 to kill when we return for the second period. I'm Matt, he's Ben. You've been listening to this broadcast on the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel and watching along on Flow Hockey. We'll be back for the second period in just a few minutes' time. Stay tuned.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
the Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
What's like when it comes to practice, like what's your like least favorite drill?
Oh, it's the one drill. It's our first drill. I don't mind it, but it's just we don't get a shot on. Yeah, Cape Breton. We don't get a shot on net. It's just passing. So I mean, it's good that we practice our passing. I just don't like that I don't shoot. The
so how does that drill work? Like if you're only passing, like
it's just it's tough to explain, but you kind of just go around in circles. The D go D, pass it up. We're just breaking out and just regrouping.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's your least favorite drill then?
I'd say the 2-on-1 with a back check.
Oh yeah.
It sounds fun, you know, you get to do 2-on-1, but then when you got a back check the whole other way, it's one of those hidden baggers in a drill, and then you kind of realize at the end, like, wow.
Yeah, they got you. They got you.
Yeah.
Do they let you, because you're a defenseman, like participate on the 2 part, or are you always the 1?
No, usually the 1, unless we're short forwards, but yeah, usually the 1.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're not having as much fun then.
No.
What? Speaking of those moments, like, how do you know? I know most of the time on 2-on-1s, like in a game situation, the defenseman will try to take away the pass. But how do you know, in your mind, in that split second, that I gotta take the pass or I should try and take the shooter?
It depends on. Well, in practice, it's a lot easier because I know the guys. Like, I know who's got the shot and who doesn't. But it's all just judgment. It's all just in the moment. But usually you're safer to take the pass. Because if it gets across on you, then it's no longer the goalie's fault, it's your fault. So usually just let the goalie take the shooter, and it's the best way to do it, I think.
Do you look back at like Tyson and Austin and be like, you guys are awful. Worst goalies in the league.
No,
it's your fault.
They're pretty good, so.
Yeah. You know what I said? I was talking to Peter about this the other day, and I said, oh, wow, your goalies are like 2 of them are, top 5 in save percentage of the year. And he looked at me, ever the coach, and he said, yeah, that means we're letting up too many shots.
That's Pete right there.
I laughed so hard when he said that. I was like, he's not wrong. Like, evidently not. And you guys have 2 of the best goalies in the league for sure. Justin, though, I got to ask you, though, like we touched on it a little bit, your defensive side of the game, but last year, the rookies weren't really getting so much special teams time until you broke out on the penalty kill. And, like, was the defensive side something that you took, pride in last year, trying to, suffocate other teams like you did?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what Peter said to me before the year. I mean, the only way you're getting ice time is if you play well defensively, and I think I took that to heart. And I was even sometimes I was even too defensive. I just gave up on offensive chances. I mean, but it's part of the process, and I mean, it helped me. They got me on the penalty kill, and I think he trusted me a lot at the second half of the year, and I guess it showed up.
So now this year, you've blown past the numbers from last year. I think you've almost doubled your points already this year. What's kind of clicked for you offensively? Like, is playing sound defensively allowing you to break out offensively now?
I'd say so too, and just a little bit more confidence this year. I think I've been relied on more to provide more offense this year than last year. Last year I was just kind of a shutdown guy. This year I have to provide a little bit more offense. So, and I think just trusting my feet a little bit more has helped me. And I know I'm not the fastest skater, but that doesn't mean I can't move my feet to make plays. So I think that's been the biggest part of my game that's changed from last year.
Well, I got to ask, just because it's always a fun time to try and make fun of other guys on this podcast when I can't play hockey to save my life, but here we are taking shots. What's Caleb Dawson like as a line mate?
Yeah, he's awesome. Oh, boy. No, but he's great. He's great. I mean, offensively, he's so skilled. I mean, his IQ offensively is just out of this world. I mean, his skill level, he can make plays. His IQ, he knows where I am now. We've been playing for 3 years together, so I mean, our connection's been really great, and I mean, I'm lucky to play with him. So,
I gotta ask though. So like last year, you played pretty much exclusively with Daw and Dubroy, and then this year you kind of changed up the lines a lot. You were playing with Pelche and Cowell for a long time, and now you're back with Dawson again. When Dawson gets back on your wing, does it just feel like a seamless fit? Like it's just like, let's go?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we haven't changed our position much more from the years before, but I mean, a little bit of talking and we're pretty much good to go. So.
What's that like though? Trying to figure out. I know you played with Cowell on the U18 team as well, but trying to figure out a guy like Pelche kind of thing, like on the ice, and you've never played with until this year.
I think it's a lot of communication. I mean, on the ice and then on the bench, I think I talk a lot to my line mates and my team on the bench, and I think it helps to find where we are on the ice. And I think he's been doing a great job at just finding me, and I've been doing a pretty good job of finding him. So I think our connection's been pretty good.
You guys ever try to throw off the other guys with just speaking French out there?
Oh yeah, sometimes we do it, and even our team's like, "What do you say?" And then, anyways, it's pretty funny sometimes.
Speaking of guys who cheer for weird teams, Dallas Stars, like come on. Anyways, Dawson, for yourself, what's it kind of been like trying to integrate into a whole new team and kind of get to know everybody?
I've enjoyed it. It's been they like I said earlier, they make it easy, so you get to know the guys pretty quickly and how they play, so it meshes pretty well.
With you on the back end, there were some injuries up front and stuff, and I think everybody's kind of expected to bounce forward and bounce back a little bit. What's that kind of been like, juggling that a little bit?
It's a learning curve. I've never played forward, obviously, and then to play at a junior A level is something in its own. But it's a learning curve for sure, and it's since I'm a first-year guy, it's something that I might have to do the odd time is jump in as a forward. So I don't mind doing it, and if I have to do it again, I'd be glad to do the role. So
now, here's one of my favorite things to kind of get into the guy's psyche, but let's talk jersey numbers a little bit. So you, I think, wore 67 with U18. Yeah. There's obviously no 67 with the Voodoos. No. Jim, we got to fix that. Anyways, when you were offered, did you get to pick 8, or was it just kind of handed to you?
Yeah, actually, 8 was my first choice. It's kind of might be weird for a forward number, but
well, I mean, Ovi.
Yeah, I guess. But that's kind of the number I wore growing up till I played AAA, and so I just decided why not go back to it.
Was 67 for like Pacioretty or something? Or?
Yeah, but now he's on the Leafs, so
you don't like him anymore. Yeah. It really kills me that he wears 67 out there, and he's a former Habs captain. But it is what it is. For you, Dawson, was what kind of numbers were offered for you, or did you ask for 24?
Well, I got to pick 3 numbers, and obviously being a first-year guy, you kind of get last of the draw. I got lucky though; all 3 of my options were all picked, but then 24, the guy who had it, ended up signing somewhere else, and then
that was the one that you wanted.
That's how I got 24. Yeah.
Is it tough filling in for a guy like Ryan Patrick?
I don't know too much about him, but
well, we could tell you stories.
Oh yeah.
First off, you're already better because you're not American. Okay, weird question for you, because this was like a bit of a debate last year. I had like hockey moms from other players coming up and talking to me about this. We had Pats on the podcast twice, and we always ask, what's the difference between America and Canada? And I'm sure you've heard the Milkmaster stuff with Mount Gordon, because that seems to be circulating quite a bit. But he said we call them docks up here when they're marinas, even if it's a singular dock. Is that not the weirdest thing in the world?
Americans, man. Americans.
So I asked Jack Nolan about it because he's from Pittsburgh too. And he said, I've never heard that. That's the weirdest thing in the world. So I was like, thank you for sewering Ryan Patrick. We'll take that. So can I ask what your other choices were?
One was 8, and then the other one was...
Watch out when you leave here.
I'm not sure what the third one was. I think it was 6 maybe.
Okay.
But 24 was before that, so.
24 was like number 1, or was 8 number 1?
2.
Yeah.
8 was first, thanks.
And then he's like, no, some guy named Justin Rooster. And you're like, oh, this guy's going to be the worst.
Yeah.
Any forward who wears 8 thinks they're Ovechkin. And then you meet him and you're like, yeah, he is the worst.
Wow.
And then he made it my stallmate, and I was like, oh.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it?
Way to throw it in my face like that.
I get to see it on the name bar every game now in the jersey.
The Front Line, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.
Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Welcome back live from the Powassan Sportsplex in Powassan, Ontario. It is Voodoos Hockey on Flow Hockey and the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel. The Powassan Voodoos trail the Soo Thunderbirds 2-1 in a very important matchup between these two clubs. They are neck and neck in the NOJHL standings. And remember, this season, just one conference, top 8 teams make it. Right now, the top 4 seeds have been pretty much decided. You got Greater Sudbury Cubs topping the league with 80 points, followed by Hearst, Sioux Eagles, Blind River, Timmins. And Timmins, in that 5th spot, has clinched a playoff position. They could still move up and down
within
those positions. But the Soo Thunderbirds, Powassan Voodoos, and Espanola Paper Kings are still fighting for their playoff lives, and the Iroquois Falls Storm are right behind Espanola, just 4 points back. So, I mean,
there's still moves that can be made.
That's right. And again, there's going to be a lot of head-to-head matchups within the last 7-8 games of the season that could really turn the tide of where these teams are in the standings.
Yeah, and like we've talked about a couple times, this game and tomorrow's game are such big games for where things finally lie that you definitely do not want to be the team coming into 8th, because Greater Sudbury Cubs are just such a powerful team. I cannot see them getting eliminated in the first round this year.
Yeah, they've got a plus 119 goal differential.
Oh.
They, they're the only team. The next closest team is the Hearst Lumberjacks, who are plus 80. Although the Hearst Lumberjacks only have 2 goals less than them overall. But what the difference is that the Greater Sudbury Cubs have given up just 102 goals against. The next closest team is the Timmins Rock, who have given up 119. So you can see why Sudbury is making things work on both sides of the ice.
Yeah, they're all around just a phenomenal team this year. It's ridiculous. So you don't want to be up against them in the first round if you want to try and make some noise in the playoffs this year for sure.
And again, the Powassan Voodoos would love to sneak up a couple of spots and maybe get a more preferable matchup in the first round. And if they're going to do that, it's going to start by winning games in big situations like this, as well as cutting off that losing streak in their last 10. They are 4-6.
And as we're heading into this period, they have 1:49 left to kill on that Caleb Dawson penalty. That questionable 4 minutes, but we are where we are, and the game goes on.
And we are underway in the second period. Coming right down the middle was Fenlon, but he goes offside. He had a couple of options, and they were trying to hold the line there with him, and he just went trying to go right down Main Street, but couldn't hold the line.
No, that's a lot of times players get stuck where they try and make little moves at the last second, and the guy's not really paying attention and tries to get a jump on the line. And the Voodoos will take that right now for sure to help kill off a little more time.
At the line, Fenley's shot coming in. That one is stopped. Big rebound out to the blue line, and racing down the right side is Cowell. Cowell gets hit into the boards, but he'll skate off, and that will allow the Thunderbirds some time to regroup in their own zone with a minute remaining on their power play. Rotundo behind the net. Sends it out, sends it down the ice. This has been a good-looking penalty kill for the Voodoos to start this period. Meanwhile, at the end of the first period, the Thunderbirds were really putting the pressure on them in the defensive zone.
This has definitely been an ideal first minute and some of the penalty kill off this period so far.
30 seconds remains before Dawson can rejoin his teammates. Gallivan to the right side, carried in by Elliott. He's being tied up on the end boards. 10 seconds to go. Voodoo's trying to clear it out of the zone. Dawson back out onto the ice. And we're back to even strength. So the Voodoos don't give up anything on the penalty kill, but they still trail 2-1. Into the zone, to the right side. Shot coming in, save made. Rebound, chance is stopped, and a third one is poked away. A fourth chance sails just wide. The Thunderbirds thought they had a goal on at least two of those shots, but Wilcox doing a great job to keep them at bay. Hard hit into the corner. Now behind the net. That's controlled back there by Sonnendecker. Sonnendecker, who's got a goal already tonight, feeds it in. That's off the glove and out into the slot. The Voodoos clear it out of the zone. Sent right back in by McCauley. Stopped on the half boards, trying to dig away at it. Legler fighting for it for the Thunderbirds, but the Voodoos end up gaining control and they send it out of the zone. Moretta sends it up ahead to McCauley. In over the blue line to Legler. Legler to the left side. Pass back across the right side, and they get denied. The Voodoos got away with a really late change there.
That was a bad change, but now they have a puck going the other direction.
And they put it on net, deflected into Metivier, and he holds on to it for a stoppage and play. And there's a hard cross check from behind. McGunthin goes down, and that is going to send Sonnendecker to the box. I mean, you just can't be that egregious about it in front of the official.
Away from the play while nothing's going, like after the whistle, it's not right in front. You're going to get called for that every time.
They didn't like how McGunthin tapped Metivier after he had made the save, but I mean, even that wasn't egregious in any...
No, he didn't dig hard, and it was one of those... He's going for the puck, gloves goes down, stick hits glove. I mean, that's unavoidable. But something's happening with the face-off here. I'm not sure. The ref came in and pointed to something, and now he's talking to Whitelaw and...
Yeah, not sure what that was about, but with 16:50 remaining in the second period, the Voodoos have their second power play of the game, their first since that 5-minute major within the first 50 seconds of the game. And play is called dead.
Oh, that 2-minute became a 4-minute.
And it looks like it was unsportsmanlike.
Which that's the second one of the day that there's been a 2-minute penalty that's had an unsportsmanlike added onto it. I'm not sure if these players are extra vocal in their reactions to it or not, but it looks like the linesman's trying to kick both guys out of the face-off or telling them to back up on the draw. I'm not entirely sure.
That's been a weird spot for puck drops in this period. Kratz with it. turns back, sends it to the point. Shot coming in, save made. Metivier seeing that one all the way.
And Powassan's looked good on the first initial seconds of this 30 seconds of this power play or so that they've had. They've had some control. They've had a couple shots towards the net. Much better than they looked at the start. 9 shots for Powassan to 11 shots for the Soo Thunderbirds at this point.
Metivier, who played with the Sudbury Cubs the last 2 seasons, started his NOJHL career with the Soo Thunderbirds back in 21-22.
Was that as an
24-9-1. He was 24-9-1 for that Cubs championship team last year.
Yeah.
There's a shot in. That one's turned away. No, it wasn't as an AP. He was 23-4 in his rookie season with the Soo Thunderbirds. Voodoos trying to keep it going here. Down to 2 minutes on this extended power play. Another shot comes in. Bounces out to the blue line. Call with it. Plays it in the corner. Nolan feeds it across. Wide open. Dawson with some vengeance from that earlier power play as he scores on the power play and makes it 2-2.
And he scored with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the power play, so that goal does not negate the penalty. It just knocks it down to 2 minutes.
What an opportune time to find the back of the net. And how about that pass from Nolan? I mean, I didn't think he had enough room to get it across, but it was right onto the tape.
As I've heard, with Caleb Dawson, the pucks just find him.
And he just found the back of the net to tie this game 2-2. And so, and that's got to be a backbreaker for if you're the team killing the penalty, realizing that there wasn't much time left on the first half of the double minor, and now you're still down by a guy, even though you gave up the goal. Chance right in the slot, and that one gets stopped. I don't know if Boyes got all of that puck.
He had a good look, but his stick did something weird there with the flex of it. It just kind of rolled almost under the stick.
A wraparound chance gets denied, and the Thunderbirds will race down the ice. Jones McDonald gets it knocked off his stick by Rotundo on the back check. Nice dump in as Call will chase it. Call plays it back behind the net for Cowell. Across to the right side, and Call in control, looking to take the shot. That gets blocked by Gallivan in front. Voodoos still trying to get it in front before time expires. Well, they've got the man advantage. Whitelaw in the corner. Plays it back to the right side. Now flipped behind the net to the far side. Time winding down on this penalty here. Whitelaw in there. Lost it. And it's sent down the ice. And it will roll right to Wilcox. Wilcox had to make sure he actually stopped that one. I mean, he was a little far out of net for my comfort, but everybody on the bench seemed to think it was okay. So 13.5 to play in the period. Chance now for the Thunderbirds, and they're still shorthanded as that shot came in, and now we're back to 5-on-5 play. And it's a 3-on-2 developing. Nolan tries to feed in front. Broken play, and it's turned aside by the goaltender Metivier. Nolan at the blue line. Feeds it down to the right side. DeBox into the corner. Now Nolan trying to come out in front. Nolan kicks it back to his stick. And he has no option, so he'll take it all the way back. Play to the left side. Chipped up ahead. Dawson's got it. Coming in on the left wing. Takes the shot, and it's right at Metivier for the save. 12:51 to go. We're even 2-2 in the second.
And those weird angle shots there like Dawson just took is, you know, you don't have much of the net to shoot at, but it's such a weird angle as a goalie to have to play and cover that sometimes you get lucky from those and sometimes you get a good rebound from it also. We are lining up here just to Metivier's blocker side.
Off the draw, shot in. A nice play drawn up by the Voodoos, but just hit that wall of traffic in the circle. And now the Thunderbirds are able to get it out of the zone and down the ice. Hard hit along the M boards. Thunderbirds still in control. Freeman at the line. Knocked away off his stick by Viscu, but then Freeman did a good job to bring the puck back to his stick and not let Viscu go down. It would have been a clear breakaway. That one is flipped up over the glass and out of play. And I'm trying to remember, is that a penalty in this league, or is it not? Okay.
No, just they're not allowed to change.
Between the Voodoos, the Trappers, the Battalion, the Lakers,
Jason's hockey,
and my
hockey.
son's hockey, yeah. There's a different rule for every level. And actually, there's a different rule between the men's and the women's Lakers hockey as well in the OUA, so...
That's sexism, Matt.
That's trying to keep track of it all. Into the zone. There's a chance in front of the net. Off the backhand. Misa did a good job tying him up. Chased down the ice by Moretta. Setting up to Atkinson. Legler turns it over. A shot from behind the blue line by Misa. Thunderbirds looking to use their speed now down the ice. But they lost it on the poke check coming in over the blue line. Voodoo's trying to go the other way, kicked away.
Yeah, the Voodoos had a couple times where they've nearly been caught by later bad line changes, and that was one of the ones right there where they just got lucky. But these Thunderbirds, they're looking for that chance to spring guys, and they're getting a few of them.
And again, it's a smaller ice surface here in Powassan, so you don't have a lot of room to make up for those mistakes.
Nope.
I mean, if a team has some speed, they can hurt you in a hurry in this barn. Trying to center that one off a skate. Play back into the corner, and the Thunderbirds can't complete the pass. Voodoos look to get it down the ice. Dubroy lost it. Elliott coming in. Tried to play it to the line, but a nice play by Dubroy to get it back and dump it in. McDowell into the neutral zone now. Kratz makes a move, and he gets hammered at the blue line, and that's going to be a penalty coming up against the Thunderbirds. Tripping will be the call, and it was just one of those plays where Kratz wasn't in a great position, but Smith took the liberty to run into him.
And Kratz went off a little
gingerly,
we'll say. There was some discomfort from, that was, I don't know if it was knee on knee, but it definitely caught his leg in a weird way. And
again, he kind of bounced off that first hit at the line, and then was almost doing the splits, and then got run over by Smith. And so the Voodoos, third power play of the game. They're 1 for 2 tonight. Goal by Caleb Dawson, his 8th of the season. And that allowed the Voodoos to tie this game, and that's been the only goal of this second period as the Thunderbirds send it down the ice.
They're in hot pursuit on that chase.
Yeah, if you're Soo Thunderbirds head coach Jamie Henderson, you'd like to see them get back into that shutdown game a little more on this penalty kill here. Thunderbirds come in 75.1% on the penalty kill, while the Voodoos counter with the 7th ranked power play at 19.3%. 33 power play goals on the year, not counting the one tonight by Dawson, as that one is caught by Metivier.
Looks like we've got about 55 seconds left here in the power play with our good friend the stanchion right in the middle of the clock. We can't see exactly, but it looks like a 55 there. And the Voodoos were finally starting to get the puck set up in their zone. or in the Thunderbird zone. So they might have a minute, up to a minute here of some good chances.
The Powassan Voodoos at home have the 10th ranked power play by a home team this year at just 14.8%, just 12 power play goals for the Voodoos in Powassan this year.
I don't like that stat.
12 for 81. Again, not counting the power plays or the goal by Dawson tonight. Out of the zone, Macaulay. Down the left wing side. Played it back to the point, and then what happened there? Well, the Voodoos looking to come in the zone with the man advantage. Call with a couple chances. Now at the right side, Rousseau with a chance. And the play is blown down. I think Rousseau came off the bench in an offside position.
He came in offside,
okay, that was, everyone kind of froze there for a second, not knowing where they should be. And that led to the Voodoos' chance.
He came in offside, and then he kind of looked like he was going to go back and touch up, and then he kind of turned back like he was going to the net, and it looked like there was some confusion on the ice for a little bit there, and a face-off to the glove side from Tivier here.
Voodoos still on the power play. 8.5 to go in the period. Up the middle to Misa. To the left side, Saginaw, as we're back to even strength. Whipped around the boards. The Voodoos in control, driving to the net. Whitelaw tried to center it. Off the boards, Kratz. Nice move by Kratz to keep control of the puck. But then 3 Thunderbirds get all over him and knock the puck away. Moretta dumping it in. Chased in the boards by Coleman. Turned over, Macaulay coming in, and a save made by Wilcox.
And those glove saves over the head, Matt, they're always weird ones to me. I'm not sure how, they're always weird to me, but we're at our mid-period break here, so we'll be back on the other side.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Welcome back. I'm Matthew Sukram alongside Ben Long. Mike Brown, the birthday boy, on the camera tonight.
Happy birthday, Mike.
And you can also check out our Frontline Broadcast social media pages where Harrison Clements and
is it Cassie
Milne doing it down there as well tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're doing all our socials, so you can go on our Instagram and TikTok pages and get like a quick snapshot of what's gone on in the game.
Yeah, and a special shout out to Courtney, whose voice you're usually hearing is counting the shots in a very notable way.
Oh, is that what's that? Oh, look at that.
He's moving things around on the board. He's made
so
sure to keep us.
So apparently there's 16 shots for the Voodoos and 12 for the Thunderbirds, according to Courtney Getty. 7:35 to play in the second period. It's a 2-2 game. And we thank you for joining us on this Saturday night. Thunderbirds with an opportunity, but man, the Powassan Voodoos have really not given them a lot of room to work with. Really since the beginning of this period. Again, they started this period with the man advantage. The Thunderbirds did. And after that opening whistle, it's really been all Voodoos.
Yeah, this second period's really been a turnaround game from what we saw in the first period for the Voodoos.
Rousseau lost it at the blue line. But the Thunderbirds, they are dangerous, and they can turn that around, at the flip of a switch as that one goes out of play.
Yeah, there's lots of hockey left to be played here, so there's no counting any chickens before they hatch here.
That's right. 6:50 to go.
Yeah, I'm sure the Voodoos would love to end their winning streak here, but we have 26:50 left to play today, and they got another 60 minutes to try tomorrow.
Yeah, again, the Voodoos haven't won in the month of February. Their last win on January 31st. Whereas the Thunderbirds, yes, they lost their last time out against the Blind River Beavers, but before that, 4 straight wins. Up ahead to Sonnendecker. Takes a shot. Sonnendecker sends it just wide. At the blue line, sent ahead. Trying to get into the zone, and they do. Fed up ahead to Whitelaw on the right side. Whitelaw in the corner, being pinned against the boards as the puck gets knocked loose.
And there we have an icing. Puck's going to come all the way back down for a face-off in front of Metivier.
Thunderbirds had a 5-game homestand from January 31st to February 15th, and they won all 5 games. This is now the second game of a 3-game road trip for them. Again, the third game will be here tomorrow afternoon. But they lost on the road yesterday to Blind River. And the Voodoos trying to make it 2 in a row in the L column for the Thunderbirds. In fact, the Thunderbirds haven't won a road game since January 25th. That shot just wide of the net. That was a 4-1 win in Iroquois Falls. Along the end boards, trying to feed it in front. That one's knocked away. Thunderbirds are just 6-16, 1-1 on the road with 14 points. So really, they've done most of their winning on home ice.
Yeah.
4.5 to play in the second period. 2 to the score. Back and forth we go. Thunderbirds coming in. That is Cowan with the shot. Scores! What a play by the Thunderbirds to get that one.
And that was a great goal scorer's shot. Just above the pad on the ice. And just inside the post. That's where, guys who score a lot of goals, that's where they're shooting them.
And like we said, the Voodoos playing a much better second period. They really were limiting the Thunderbirds' chances, but once you get into that speed game and there's not a lot of stoppages, that's really where I feel like the Thunderbirds are going to hurt you. And they just keep coming in on the rush, and all they need is one good shot, and you saw it right there. And just like that, they've got a 3-2 lead with 4 minutes to go in the second period. So now if you're Powassan Voodoos coach Peter Goulet, what do you say now to try and regroup the troops?
You've come back from leads twice so far this game.
That's right. Yeah, this is the third 1-goal lead for the Thunderbirds in this contest.
Yeah, it's been a close game, and this, aside from that last series of events, most of this period has been the Voodoos going the other way. So it's only fitting for them to have a little push back, and as a goalie, if you're not seeing regular shots in on you, it's hard to keep your head in the game and be ready for some of those.
That's right. Nice face-off win by Powassan. Down the right side, Cowell dumping it in. Flipped all the way along to the far side, but carried out by Atkinson. Stops at the blue line, fed across the left side. Coming in, the shot save made by Wilcox. Legler ripping that one from the left side.
And Wilcox took that into his body and just dropped in and held on to it. That's exactly what you want to be as a goalie. You want to be in the right position so it's hitting your body. You're not, the glove saves are the ones that look sweet, but those are risky saves to be making. You want it in your body and you want to be able to hold on to it just like Wilcox did there.
3:27 to go. 3-2 lead, Thunderbirds. Sonnedecker to take the draw. Russo wins it for the home side. Nice little poke there. Gets it up to the stick of McGunthin. McGunthin tried to get around the big defender in Evans, who's got a goal already tonight. Continuing to play at the near side. Still stuck on the boards. Kratz does a great job to go up high for that one, to keep it in at the blue line briefly. And now they try to go in with numbers, but they get disrupted on the near side boards, and McCauley will go the other way for the Soo Thunderbirds. Feeding it in front. Sonnedecker's right there, but can't get the shot off. Nice job again on the back check by Powassan to tie up the Thunderbird skater before they could really get a damaging shot off. Played across to the left side. Little poke check there, but they can't keep it in play. Hard hit on the far side boards, and now the Thunderbirds go offside. Gallivan couldn't get it before Smith crossed the line, and they'll blow the play down with 2:12 remaining.
Right now, the shots are now tied up at 16-16. And we're going to face off just outside the Voodoos' end. This period has been... The Thunderbirds have done a great job of taking some of that momentum back with that last goal and keeping the play going the other way. But as the play mentioned, like Kratz, like a center fielder out there jumping up to make that, stop that home run, leaving the zone.
Nice save there by Wilcox, throwing up the shoulder to keep that puck out. Camden Cowan, who had the assist on the last goal by James Elliott. 14th goal by Elliott, 14th assist by Cowden. Voodoos get that one out. Whitelaw going in. Moretta behind the net. Play back to the near side. Sent up ahead, Legler crossing to the middle. The shot coming in, and the save is made by Wilcox. Another chance from the left side, and Smith sends it wide. Legler has it, feeding it to the middle. Backhanded chance. Wilcox makes another stop, but the Thunderbirds keep attacking. It's Moretta to Legler, and that one is stopped by Wilcox once again.
And that's great play by him where he looked a little off balance to make that blocker save, but he managed to drop it in front of him where he could throw that glove on it before anyone from the Thunderbirds was able to get to it and get another chance on that, because as a goalie, when you're down on your belly, you're kind of helpless.
Yeah, goalies don't really get up back to their feet as quickly as players do when they're in that position, do they?
No, I tell you, with that equipment on, it's a little bit different.
That's right.
When you have a little more belly, it makes it even more different at my age, but, these guys are in peak shape out there.
Yeah. And yeah, your age, you're like, I'm just going to stay down here for a while, guys. Don't mind me.
No razors, please.
That's 1 minute to go in the second period. 3-2, Thunderbirds lead. Their goals by Elliott, Sonnedecker, and Evans, while the Voodoos have gotten goals from Caden Dubroy and Caleb Dawson.
And Dawson just got a quick little shot off in that time between the face-off dropping and the whistle going again, that he was able to pick it up quickly. And
so the two goals against Metivier have been one that he misplayed, and then another where Dawson was wide open and it was a cross-zone pass from down low. So, I mean,
it looks like Powassan with a bit of a power line out there. We're 4 forwards. Oh, no.
And there's a chance on net, but that's stopped by Metivier, and the Thunderbirds clear it down the ice. Legler plays it in behind the net.
I was mistaken. McKillop was there. Just Dawson was back for the shot.
Cleared out of the zone. Freeman up to the right side. McCauley lost it at the line. Freeman down the left wing. Up ahead to Smith. Knocked away from his stick. And sent McDowell from his own zone. 10 seconds to go in the period. Trying to get over there. McCall throws a hit, but he's the one that goes down. 2 seconds to go. Shot out from the right side, and Wilcox maybe just made a game-saving save.
I believe that was a save that he made there. I couldn't quite see from all the traffic in front, but it looked like it changed directions, and I think it was him. And if he did make a save there, that alters this game entirely.
What a finish there to the second period. The Voodoos get a goal, but so do the Thunderbirds, and that's where we are. It's 3-2. The Thunderbirds have led by a single goal 3 times in this game, and the Voodoos will have to play comeback once again in the third period. He's Ben, I'm Matt. We thank you for joining us. Another 20 minutes of hockey from the Powassan Sportsplex coming up on Flow Hockey and the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel right after this.
Canadian Tire North Bay. Whether you're in need of a hockey gear upgrade or some cooking kitchenware to help get you fueled up for the big game. Maybe it's a set of new snow tires or a tune-up to help you get there safely. Stop by the newly renovated Canadian Tire North Bay. Open 7 days a week and located conveniently at 890 McEwen Avenue. They have everything you need for this season. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline Podcast, in which one of my guests traveled not so far, and the other one has traveled pretty far. We have Caleb Dawson, right from his own backyard, and then we have Jack Nolan as well, all the way from Pittsburgh. So one guy's gone not so far, the other one's gone pretty far. Guys, how's it going today?
Not bad. Good, how are you?
We're doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited for this one, mostly because I just get to make fun of Caleb the whole time. Caleb, let's start it off with you. Second season in the league, how's things going for you so far?
It's been good. I like the group we have. We have some guys back, and I think we've got another group, and we can go for another run here. So,
Jack, you yourself, this is also, I guess, your second year in the league, but you played for some team that we don't really care too much about last year, Hearst, but now you're with Powassan. What's going on with you right now?
I'm just kind of just locked into that in-season grind, just going day by day and going game by game.
Caleb, I feel like everybody who's a returnee from last year, I end up talking to them obviously about last year's team a little bit because it's hard not to when you go all the way to the finals. Yeah. Your first year of junior A hockey, what was that experience like going all the way to the finals?
Yeah, it was obviously a great experience. I played with so many great players, and I obviously learned a lot from guys like Alex Little, all those other Cameron Lemke. So I was pretty fortunate to play with those guys, and I'm pretty thankful for it.
Now, you have a letter on your jersey this year, which in my time following you around as a player is the first time I've ever seen that. What's that been like, wearing an A?
Yeah, it's been good. It's obviously an honor. I'm one of the guys back, and like I said, I've learned a lot of leadership skills from guys like Alex Little, Cameron Lemke and Tucker Shields, and I try and use that to my best to help this team.
Jack, is it hard looking at this guy and being like, wow, he wears an A, I have to listen to him go?
No, Daw's a good leader. We talk about just things that are on our minds, and we kind of try to do that with other guys in the room that hasn't been in our shoes yet.
So I got to ask you, you're being from Pittsburgh, obviously there's some Penguins behind us here. We'll talk a little bit about the Penguins in a little bit, but did it kill you last year wearing Flyers colors?
Yeah, a little bit. That's actually the first thing my dad said. He's like, you're not going to catch me in orange or black or white up there. But it killed me a little bit, but the jerseys weren't bad.
No. I thought that when, Claude Giroux left Philly, they would change the color a little bit.
They still have them right on the glass panel right behind the net in Hearst. So, brutal.
I've never made it to Hearst, but I watched games on TV. When I saw it the first time, I was like, man, they're really milking the Claude Giroux.
That was my first reaction. I was like, what is going on here?
Oh, man, that just must kill you. So I'd be from Pittsburgh, and now you're playing for a team owned by a guy who's your bane of your existence.
It was a little brutal, but then they talked about him so much, so obviously I kind of went and looked just kind of what he did and just some of the stuff he's done. You can't even hate on him for it. So.
I mean, he plays for the Sens, and I'm a Leafs fan, so I don't even hate him.
Yeah.
That also doesn't help, or doesn't hurt that the Sens haven't been good with him there either. So, whereas the Flyers were good with him. So, Caleb, you're a Stars fan, which whatever. But I gotta ask, how's watching the Stars been for you this year? They're still a pretty good team.
Yeah, so. I mean, they've been pretty solid recently. Obviously, they lost a pretty tough game last night, but they've been in the win column, and it's been nice watching them.
Does I know watching the games and watching them go far, this is something that I wouldn't know or have firsthand experience with my NHL teams. What's that like, watching your teams go to the actual conference?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I remember sitting on the couch and Matt Duchene scored that overtime winner against Colorado was a pretty sick feeling.
Yeah.
But they have lost in the conference final twice in a row, which probably almost feels as worse as losing in the first round, you experienced.
Oh my God! You know what? I think the one that hurt the most was when they got to the second round and lost in 5 games.
Yeah.
That one hurt the most because I was like, oh, finally, for years I was like, if the Leafs ever make it past the first round, they're dangerous. I watch it, they're everything's off their backs, and then they go and win one more game. I'm like, come on.
It's typical.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
It's typical.
Jack, your team has probably the most success out of the three of us. Regrettably. But, what's that like watching an NHL team that you cheer for, have some allegiance to, hoist a cup?
Yeah, I was sick. I was there for, the parade in the city in 16 and 17, so it was just, it was electric, obviously, but it was sick growing up watching Crosby because, you don't really realize, the impact he has on the city and, the amateur hockey in that area until, you're grown and, the NHL starts, using him as the grandfather figure and everything. So it's it was amazing growing up. Everybody wanted to be like him.
It's wild to me that he's in his twilight years now.
I know.
Him and Ovechkin. That's just.
It doesn't make sense.
No,
it's crazy.
No, it doesn't. But and now Ovi's week to week, so it's the goal chase is As a Pens fan, are you invested in Ovi's goal chase, or are you
no, not at all. And I lived in Hershey for a little bit playing juniors, and their NHL team was Washington. So my billets at the time actually were talking about getting season tickets for this year to try and catch that game. And speaking of record and milestones, Crosby might get that 600 tonight.
Yeah, so. He could. Should probably.
That's more important, eh?
So I gotta ask then, because everybody I know who's from Pittsburgh that's a Penguins fan is Crosby's the GOAT. But outside of Malkin and Crosby, who's your favorite Penguin that you've got to watch?
Fleury.
Yeah?
Fleury. I mean, yeah, he's electric, in net, and just the way he carries himself. He's such a good guy.
Who's been your favorite Dallas Star to watch over the years?
I think Jamie Benn.
Yeah.
He's been there the longest. He's kind of been the the cornerstone of that franchise. So I think seeing him over the years, he's still a big part of the team. So I think it's Jamie Benn for sure.
It's kind of like wild to first off be a Stars fan in Canada.
Yeah.
So is it a little strange that there's like an actual other Stars fan on the team and like
I don't know many at all, and to find out that this French guy that I met at the start of the year, it's a Dallas Stars fan was just crazy.
He's a little wild.
Yeah.
I don't know really how to describe Pels all that much. I mean, he was fun on the podcast, but he's a little bit of a wild card. I find.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb. The other question that comes to mind when we talk about you is last year. You wore number 12, which was a little foreign.
Yeah.
After watching you play for a couple of years, but it honestly didn't look out of place, but it felt weird knowing everything else. But now you get the chance to switch to 10. How excited were you to get to 10?
Yeah, I was obviously, we found out Matthew McMillan was leaving us, unfortunately. So, when I found that out, I got right on it, and I've worn 10 my whole life, so it felt pretty good to get it back.
How is there a moment of oh my god, I got to get in on this right away, or are you kind of
I mean, I knew we weren't having a lot of returners back, and the returners usually get the first choice, so I wasn't super worried about it.
The Frontline, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Brand. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Welcome back. My name is Matthew Sukram. His name is Ben Long, and it's a 3-2 lead for the Soo Thunderbirds with 20 minutes left on the clock here at the Powassan Sportsplex as the Voodoos and the Thunderbirds traded goals in that second period. Caleb Dawson scoring at 4:30 on the power play, made it 2-2, but James Elliott, his 14th of the season at 15:36, gave the Thunderbirds their third one-goal lead of the game. And now the Voodoos are going to have to work hard to tie things up once again and try to get out of here with 2 points in this 2-game series at home.
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? You don't want to lose this game, and they're in it. But you also have to realize there's another game tomorrow. So they want to, for sure you want to make sure guys keep their heads cool and don't let this game get too far out, don't let this game get out of control or take stupid penalties or get injured. But you really do got to give it all because, end of the season's approaching quickly.
And what's interesting about this matchup is that last year, these two teams were playing in different conferences, so it didn't really matter if you went to overtime against a team like this. But the fact that you're now directly chasing this competition, you don't want to give up. You'd rather win in regulation, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to give up points on either side.
It's only a 1-point gain if you win in overtime.
That's
it's
right.
A 2-point gain.
And right now, it is a 1-goal lead for the Thunderbirds as we are underway for all of 8 seconds before we have our first whistle for the offside.
Yeah, we have lots of whistles now at the start of the period. Once we get to the middle of the period, they wait till
that's right. Things really open
5
up.
or 6 minutes before we get our mid-period break. But the Voodoos have control and they try to make their way down the ice.
McGunthin dumps it in to the left side and now shot into the zone by Cowell. Played behind the net, flipped around to the far side boards. McGunthin hit into the boards, but the Voodoos had possession there, and now it's turned over, and away go the Thunderbirds with some speed into the zone. That's McCauley feeding it to the middle, and they tried to put it on net, but that one is stopped by Wilcox. And remember, he made a huge save at the very end of the second period with time winding down, and we will see how large that looms over the next 20 minutes. Because if you're the Thunderbirds and you're able to score and go up by 2 at the end of the second, then you kind of just put things in cruise control and let the Voodoos come to you, right?
Yeah.
Into the neutral zone. Turned over. Dubroy trying to go the other way. Gets it over to Whitelaw. Battle on the near side boards. Everybody's still digging away at the puck there. Knocked away from that area. And coming out of the zone with it with Smith. Played back to the near side for Wardle. Turned over. And Saginaw has some room down the left wing. Saginaw puts on the brakes, looking for an option. Plays it along the end boards. Nobody there for Powassan. Skating into the area. Looked like Jack Nolan. Poke check there to get it out of the zone. They fire it right back in. Callaway over to Coleman and sent out of the zone. Caught at the Thunderbirds blue line and played down the left wing. On the dump in, it's chased behind the net by Coleman. Carrying it, dishes it off to Dawson. Dawson looking for his options. Plays it over to DeCallaway. And now DeCallaway down the right wing side. Lost it in some skates. Coming back is Dawson, and he dumps it in. Again, just a one-goal lead, but if you're the Powassan Voodoos, you don't want that feeling out process in this period to really become the story of the period. Keeping that puck in the zone was Viscu, that he was hammered in the boards. Sending it out of the zone are the Thunderbirds. DeCallaway trying to get it off McCauley right below the broadcast booth. Flip to the far side, coming into the zone. Sonnedecker played to the near side. DeCallaway gets it out of the zone. Off the skates of McDowell. He will chase it into his own end. Feeding it down the ice. That will be icing call against the Thunderbirds as they were trying to spring Legler free, who is set up at the Powassan blue line.
So far in this period, the Powassan Voodoos have really hung back and not add a whole lot of pressure. It almost seems like they're up a few goals, the way they've been playing almost a trap system with only one person applying pressure. And when you're back in points in the game, you would expect to see a little more pressure and a little more drive out there, but they seem to be sitting back and letting the Thunderbirds come to them.
Yeah, they haven't really established the zone with some numbers, right? It's been kind of off the rush, and they've just allowed the Thunderbirds to get the puck right back out of the zone quickly. But now they've got a chance here. A chance on net, but Russo takes it back the other way. Sends it to the point. Shot coming in. Big save made. Rebound chance, and another save made off the blocker of Metivier. Over to the far side. Russo fakes the shot. Now he carries it in behind the net. Looking for the wraparound, putting it on net. Scramble in front. Metivier stands his ground and keeps the puck out. Now on the far side, that's Cowell. Cowell into the corner. Now back in front to Cowell. He tried to bury it back door, but that one is stopped by Metivier. And the Thunderbirds get control, and they clear it. Just what you're talking about, Ben. That is how the Voodoos need to attack this period.
Yeah, it's almost if they heard what I was saying, like, oh yeah, this guy's an idiot. We're going to prove him wrong right now.
It's 4:20 gone in the third period. Here comes Legler. Feeds it to the middle. Smith with the shot, and he rips it wide, glove side. That ricocheted off the glass, out to the neutral zone. Whitelaw battling for it, right in front of his own bench. Couple of his teammates trying to help him out there. That puck's still frozen. Another thing we'll have to watch for is the penalties as a whistle goes here. But that will just be called for blowing the play down and trying to get the puck moving again. But, I mean, these two teams, they've both have had some lengthy power play opportunities. The Voodoos have had a 5-minute power play, and a 4-minute double minor. The Thunderbirds have had a 4-minute double minor themselves as well, but we've only had the one power play goal, and that was courtesy of Caleb Dawson at 4:30 in the second period. So staying out of the box should be
that's the top priority for everyone, I think.
That's right. 4:44 gone, or 4:54 gone, excuse me, in the third period, with the Thunderbirds ahead 3-2.
Glove face-off off the Trapper side of Wilcox here, back to the point.
Powassan are 12-7-0-2, so they are above 500 at home here. Saginaw down the left wing. Fires it in. Played behind the net by Metivier. Flips it back into the near side corner, trying to center it at the blue line. Kept in by the Voodoos. Kratz puts it into the corner, but it's off the boards and cleared out of the zone. Voodoos flip it right back in. Saginaw going in, looking for some support. It gets knocked off of his stick, and out of the zone comes Atkinson all the way into the Voodoos, over the Voodoos blue line, took the shot, and Wilcox had to make a quick save there. Now the Voodoos have a chance to get numbers going the other way. But the play got broken up as Adam McKillop just could not settle that puck down on his stick in the neutral zone. 6 minutes gone now as Wilcox makes another save, dumping it down the ice. Dawson chasing. Icing is called.
I wasn't sure that puck was going to have legs to make it for icing, but it got to the goal line before any players did, and I guess that's the standard, so here we are.
Yeah, I thought Dawson was going to go chasing that one in, but
I thought he was, but he laid off, and so did the Thunderbird defender going back laid off. And
I think from his angle, it looked like it was going to hit off the board, so he's going to take the wide route to it, and then the puck just didn't go the way he was expecting it to.
But he has it in his own zone. Throws it out to the neutral zone.
Thunderbirds bringing it in. They've got numbers going in towards the net. Now they send it out wide to Fenlon as he sends it on the far side. Now the Voodoos have a chance to get it out again, but another icing called here against Powassan. 6.5 gone in this third period, and the Thunderbirds hanging on to that 3-2 lead.
And Powassan had a couple guys make their way to the bench after that icing call, and the ref called them back out onto the ice to take this face-off, as they weren't supposed to be permitted a change there.
Yeah, that's Dawson, Viscu, and Dubroy still out there. At the blue line, shot in, that's blocked. This line needs a change. Dawson is going to be able to get to the bench. Slap pass over to the near side, onto the stick of Rotundo. Lost in the skates behind the net, picked back up by Dubroy. Getting Dubroy, dumping it in. Now it's a chance towards the net. Puts it right there, but it got lost in some skates. And the Thunderbirds clear it. Now Sonnedecker coming in on the other side. He lost the puck at the side of the net, and now Wilcox has to cover it up. And one of the Thunderbirds players fell into Wilcox at the end of the play.
And was promptly removed by, I didn't see who it was on the Voodoos. There's a few defenders there, and someone grabbed him and pulled him off in a hurry.
Looked like Rotundo.
But you certainly don't need your goalie getting hurt by guys falling on him at this stage of the game.
Not at all.
Halfway through a 3-3 game spout.
Yeah, 3 games on 2.5 days because they play tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Tell you, I don't play at this level, but I played 3 games of hockey last weekend, and I'm still sore from it.
It's a lot of time on the ice. There's a shot coming in. That one just goes high. Wilcox has done a good job cutting off those angles on the rush. Again, a lot of the Thunderbirds' chances have been from those perimeter shots and getting traffic in the front of the net. Here they come again. It's 4-on-2 into the zone. There's a shot and deflected off the stick and over the glass and out of play.
That's one thing that the Powassan defenders and even the forwards in the defensive zone have been strong at, getting their sticks in those shooting lanes and getting shots deflected away from the net, which can be a risky proposition, as you don't want to be tipping it into your own net, but getting that in there, especially right off the shooter's stick, if you can get your stick in there and prevent a shot from being on net, that can go a long way.
7:45 gone. Voodoos still looking for the equalizer. Another icing called here. I don't know if this favors either side right now. I mean,
taking icing calls never favors the defending team. That's, you get trapped in your own zone, you're not allowed to make changes.
But they're able, because, again, smaller ice surface and their bench is right next to their defensive zone. It doesn't hurt them as much until the Thunderbirds start really putting the pressure on them. I mean, the Voodoos they're winning faceoffs and then getting it out of the zone.
Yeah.
As they do again. Now can they establish some presence in the Thunderbird zone as that pass is deflected and kind of rolled on itself in front of the net, but no Voodoos in the area to take control, and now it's the Thunderbirds the other way. Nice poke check, but the Thunderbirds regain possession. Hard hit on the end boards. Kratz battling back there for the Voodoos. It comes to the blue line. Fenlon gets the shot deflected, and Wilcox was going one way, the puck went the other, and I think they're lucky that's still just a one-goal game, as that one was very close to trickling in. As icing is called again.
Now that was a great play by Dubroy, as you pointed out, on the forecheck there with his stick to block off that pass, but because the other 4 players on the Voodoos were already far outside the blue line, there was no one there to pick up that chance, pick up that block and get a chance. So that's one of those situations where if you need offense, you need to have guys in the offensive zone to take advantage of those plays.
And you're right, the way the Voodoos are playing, it kind of feels like they are sitting back, like they're trying to defend a lead right now. Here come the Thunderbirds again, big shot, save made! Wilcox stops the first attempt, and then he keeps the pad down for the second shot. Legler coming back in, drops it to the line. Fenlon right there, sends it in, and it's poked away by Wilcox. But the Thunderbirds keeping the pressure on here. Picked up by Nolan. Clear, that should be a high stick, but none of the Thunderbirds touch it. So play continues here. Dawson feeds it across the neutral zone. On the stick of Nolan. Check that Rotundo, and Rotundo's shot goes off a stick over the glass and out of play.
And I think a extra correction on there was DeBox, not Rotundo.
I'll figure it out.
One of those numbers that starts with 1 and has something after it.
That's it. That's my problem right now. It's when they're on that far side, I can see the 1, but if their back is turned, I can't really make out the shoulder numbers. They're nice uniforms. They're just not outlined enough on those shoulders. There's a chance. That stopped. The box sends it back to the half boards. Another one coming in, and that one's wide. DeCalway with the shot, and a glove save made by the goaltender Mativier. That's going to be his 22nd save of the game, and that is what we need to see more out of the Voodoos in this one.
That is exactly right, Matt. The Voodoos need to keep it in there, getting shots from anywhere they can get shots from and getting bodies in front to try and make them difficult saves from Mativier, because he's not going to let in easy ones. So you have to make sure they're hard ones for him. You have to have a little spin on the shot.
Owen Call in the middle to take the draw. They win it back. Nolan's shot. That goes just wide. DeCallaway with a nice chip on the puck to send it back in the corner to keep it in the zone. But the Thunderbirds get control and get it out. Trying to play that one up ahead to Dawson, just out of his reach. Back into the neutral zone. DeCallaway looking down his left side, feeds it to the middle. Nolan tried to drag it across, gets stopped, gets a second chance at it, and he sends it into the zone. Quick shift change there for the Voodoos to get some fresh legs on there, but it's McDowell going the other way for the Thunderbirds. Gets stopped at the line, and the puck ends up around the boards. DeBroy sends it up ahead to Misa. Misa down the left side for Rotundo. Rotundo cutting in the middle, taking the shot off a stick, and it's flipped high. Stayed in play off the glass. Into the far side corner. Misa trying to send it to the middle. Couple of guys battling for it. Just did not get to the stick of DeBroy, who was wide open. But now the Thunderbirds the other way. Smith with a nice move, but a great job by Rotundo to tie him up at the end of that play. The puck comes back to the middle of the zone. Smith with a shot. That goes wide on the blocker side. Picked up behind the net by Legler. Legler flips it to McCauley. McCauley on the far side will carry it out of the zone Still holding on to it is McCauley. Still backtracking. Now he plays it across to the far side. Onto the stick of Fenlon, I believe. Fenlon circling behind the net. Coming around to the near side. Still in control. Check that was Moretta. Moretta sends it back to Sonnendecker. Sonnendecker tries to feed in the middle. Nobody there for the Thunderbirds. The Voodoos get it cleared. Thunderbirds back in control. They touch it on the wrong side of the blue line, and offside is called. We'll take a break. It's 3-2 in the third period for the Thunderbirds.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Welcome back. Matt Sukram with you here alongside Ben Long. Voodoos trail 3-2 to the Soo Thunderbirds, and their last couple of shifts have started to look better, but they've got to start stepping on the gas pedal here. Again, you want the points, and you don't want to give the other team any points, so really they're trying to fight for 2 goals in this period.
I mean, you know, you got to think win before regulation win is the priority, but like we've talked about, that's a 1 point to their nearest contender if they let it go to overtime, so they got to be thinking here with under 10 minutes left, they got to pop a couple quick ones to get this game taken care of. And I saw on the bench Peter Goulet was drawing up some plays for them, so I wonder if we're going to see some special trick plays or anything out there tonight. Flying V or something of the sort.
I honestly think he just wants them to have a better plan with the puck once it gets inside the Thunderbird zone. Here comes Legler trying to take the shot. Knocked off the stick of Coleman. Sent back around to the near side. Voodoos gain control of the puck in their own end. Try to get it past forward, they do. Russo coming in on the left side. Tried to feed it across, but a great job on the back check by the Soo Thunderbirds defense to break up that play. Voodoos still in control with it. Cowell carrying it towards the end boards. He's getting tied up back there with Tyler Neveu. Finally chips it around to the near side. But the Thunderbirds get it out of the zone. Coleman sends it right back in. The Voodoos coming in on the attack, trying to put the pressure on the Thunderbirds in their own end. It's picked up by Russo in the neutral zone. Tries to feed it over to Whitelaw. That pass did not work. And now the Thunderbirds go the other way. Play on net. There's a couple guys in the area holding on to it. Jones McDonald lost it. Coleman behind the net to the far side. Gets it onto the stick of Whitelaw. He lost it on the boards. Voodoos still trying to get it back here. Flipped up high. It goes off the glass and then actually hits the roof. And so we'll play that one down with 6:53 remaining in the third period.
And as that was off the glass and out of play, the Voodoos were allowed to change there. So we there make a quick change as the Thunderbirds also make their change with just under 7 minutes left in the game here. The Voodoos got to be working really hard to get that puck going down the other direction.
And remember, the Soo Thunderbirds are without Nate Dugwell. He was ejected from the game just 22 seconds into the contest. Got a 5-minute major for boarding and a game misconduct. 9 goals, 27 points on the season for Dugwell, not in the lineup. But the Thunderbirds have done everything they can to mitigate his absence as the Voodoos get a chance there on net.
That was a great shot by Whitelaw that almost handcuffed Mativier in the net there. Up on the blocker side, those ones are hard ones to take control of.
6:24 to go in the third period. Mativier needed a little timeout there after that one. Looks like all the equipment is in order. Cal to take the draw. And the Thunderbirds played off the side of their own net. Cleared out to the neutral zone. McCauley coming in. McCauley battling there. Shot coming in as he gets it by McAuliffe, but right into the glove of Wilcox with 6:10 to go.
And he was sure to make that save and hold on to it as there were Thunderbirds all around him. That wasn't going to get played by any means and give them another chance to get an extra goal ahead. 25-20 for the shots to score 3-2 in favor of the Thunderbirds. It's an awfully close game right now.
Wilcox made 32 saves in last night's 6-4 loss to the Lumberjacks. '21 saves in tonight's game. Nolan going in, but lost it. What a play by McDowell. He looked like he was down and out of position, but he still got the poke check. And that disrupted the rush of the Voodoos coming in the zone. Now Dawson will try to go the other way. But again, the Thunderbirds just moving that puck laterally very well. They lost it at the line. Dawson dumps it in. And a change for the Voodoos in personnel on the ice as they try to move it the other way. Misa drops it back. Played up ahead. It's past everybody, and this will be icing against Powassan with 5:14 to play.
Yeah, it looked like Coleman was looking for Viscu that was way ahead there. And Viscu thought a player earlier in the path was going to be receiving that pass and connected with no one. And those are the type of plays where, you know, a nice stretch pass is a beautiful thing if it connects, but if it doesn't connect, you're back in your own end and you got to start all over.
Voodoos win the draw, send it to the corner. DeBroy finds it, flips it around the boards. Thunderbirds can't hold it in. Now Moretta will go in, down the right side. Plays it along the boards. Wardle back there. Over to the stick of Jones McDonald, who plays it back behind the net. Smith with it there. Into the corner. James McDonald tries to center it. The Voodoos break it up, and they look to get out of the zone. Coleman dumps it in, and somehow it doesn't go over the boards or hit the roof there. That one just kept floating in the air.
That was off the helmet of Viscu that he dumped that one in. Big
and
turnover.
There was a turnover, and somehow the Thunderbirds don't add to their lead. A great defensive play to block that one, but there's a chance, and now they do. Just took a tough deflection behind Wilcox after Kratz was slow to get up after that initial really good defensive play, and all of a sudden the Thunderbirds are ahead 4-2.
And that's one of those, again, weird angle shots that are just kind of tricky to deal with, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. It almost seemed like it was past him and he was reaching back, and I don't even entirely know what happened there. It was a weird direction change, and now there's a 2-goal hold to climb in the next 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
If the Voodoos didn't have their work cut out for them before, they've got to play a hurry-up offense twice over the next 4 minutes. Elliott coming into the zone for the Thunderbirds. Puts it on net. Wilcox turns it aside. To Callaway. Flips it up to the boards. Freeman gets it back for the Thunderbirds. Gains the attacking zone, but he's pushed into the boards. And now it is Saginaw. Down the right side. Chips it along the boards. In behind the net. Freeman gets it out of the area. The Thunderbirds, quick passing. Right to left. And now here they come into the zone. Play right on net, and McCauley gets stopped. But another chance in front, and McCauley gets stopped again. 2 big saves from Wilcox. Now the Voodoos look like they have some life here. There's a shot that goes just wide. A rebound chance is sent off the side of the net. Thunderbirds clear it down the ice. Wilcox out of his net to play it. Flips it around to McCullough. McCullough brings it over the blue line. Sent ahead, Cowell to the left side. Back to Cowell! And his shot goes off the glove and then over the glass and out of play. Cowell looked like he had the back of the net, but out of nowhere, the glove of Metivier saves that goal.
And that was a beautiful play back and forth between Dubreuil and Cowell to get that incredible shot off. And I thought that corner was picked there, but Metivier got the glove up just in time.
Man, yeah, from our angle, that was going in. What a hit in the corner as Cowell maybe taking out some of his frustrations by not being able to score on that play. But here come the Thunderbirds back down the ice. Putting on the brakes there. Wardle putting it on net now. Stopped. And now the near side, there's an opening, but the Voodoos recover in time to take that away. And you wonder if and when Wilcox will exit the net, and there he goes. It's now 6-on-5 for the Voodoos. They trail 4-2 with just under 2 minutes to play. Chance in front of the net, and it's taken away. Nolan was right there on the doorstep, but couldn't get the shot off. And now Kratz, with no goaltender in his own net, slowly brings it forward, drops it back to Cowell. Cowell dumps it in. Behind the net, Metivier flips it off the boards, and that one will slow down. It looked like it was going to go the length of the ice, but it just runs out of speed. And now the Voodoos dump it in, but it's picked up and sent right back out. Rotundo lost it at the empty net. It's off the far side post. 1:10 still to go. Still plenty of time if the Voodoos can hurry up here. But they turn it over again. Langler sends it off the same post. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I've ever seen that happen before.
From behind the blue line, McDowell sends it in. The Voodoos just defending the empty net relentlessly here, but that's not what you want to do when you're got the empty net, and then that puck goes off the near side post. The Thunderbirds have had 3 golden opportunities to put this game away for sure, but they could not hit the wide open 6x4. And now, as the play continues, McDowell is down in the corner, and the officials will blow the play dead. 21.2 seconds remaining in this game.
I mean, aside from hitting the post twice and then hitting the side protection on the net once after that, the Thunderbirds have really played this the way you want to play if you have the other team's goalie pulled.
No kidding.
And we're getting a timeout here called. I'm assuming it's probably from Powassan's end.
And again, it's just unfortunate that the score is 4-2 now if you're on the Voodoo side, because a quick goal here
the game's
is
not
wonderful,
over.
But it's so much more work now. Even 6-on-5, right? It's just with so much
less
more
than
work.
30 seconds to score 2 goals when you've managed 2 in the 59 minutes and 30 seconds previously.
That's right. Well, 58 minutes and 30 seconds.
No,
59-30, yeah. There you go.
That it's, that's a tall task. It's not an impossible task, but it's a tall task.
And again, those 40 seconds or whatever it was really kind of a microcosm of how this game has gone, where the Thunderbirds have just kept putting the pressure on and the Voodoos just haven't had the right answer for them. But we'll see if they can fire 2 quick ones off. Nice face-off win, but they were going the wrong way. Kratz now will try to wheel it up the middle here. Russo down the left side, dumping that one in. Metivier way out of his net to play it. 5 seconds to go, and the Thunderbirds are going to win this one 4-2 over the Powassan Voodoos. Make it 6 in a row for the Voodoos. Check that, 7 straight losses for Powassan.
And that's, this game, there was periods of time where the Voodoos looked really good out there and did lots of great play, and that's an unfortunate result on Mother and Billet Mother night here in Powassan.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They look like there are times where they were about to take over the game, but they just couldn't keep that foot down, and they overcame 2 separate one-goal advantages, but just couldn't get that third one when they really needed it. All right, Ben. So for Ben Long, I'm Matthew Sucrum. We'll stick around for the 3 stars. No, we won't.
We don't do it 3 stars.
All right.
I mean,
then
I don't know if they even announced it out loud, so we may not even have an answer for that.
All right, well, you can check the NOJJ website for the 3 stars following the game.
We can if you want.
It's okay. All right, for Ben Long, I'm Matthew Sucrum. Thanks, Mike Brown, for being our camera guy on his birthday of all days.
Happy birthday, Mike.
And again, check out the Frontline Broadcast social media for all exclusive content following the game. All right. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday night. We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon as the Powassan Voodoos and the Soo Thunderbirds hook up one more time. Have a good night.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.